With Fox upset over WWE not offering a contract to CM Punk and two former WWE stars heading to Impact, this is Wrestling Hub. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report for August 27th. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. With AEW debuting CM Punk and set to have Daniel Bryan appear, former WWE referee Jimmy Korderas warned the company to not forget about their original roster when bringing in huge names. CM Punk seemed to drop the hint that Daniel Bryan is on the way, yes, and maybe there's others coming. Maybe an Adam Cole, maybe a Bray Wyatt. Look, I get it, sign those guys because they are tremendous talents, but at the same time you've got a roster full of tremendous talent that you need to work with and get to the next level. There's only a finite amount of TV time, 3 hours of TV. You can say that, well, there's a YouTube show and dark and all this stuff. YouTube is not TV. TV is where the money is. It is a business at the end of the day and you need room for all these talents. Do they have it? It'll be interesting to see how AEW handles this influx of talents, with the likes of Bryan, Bray Wyatt, and Adam Cole all rumored to be making the move to the promotion. Adam Cole looks to be a free agent following his final NXT match at TakeOver 36. While most NXT talent that are released tend to have a 30-day non-compete clause, the Wrestling Observer newsletter has said, Cole is yet to sign a contract and becomes a free agent today with no non-compete. Either way, he's said to be done with NXT, although not necessarily WWE. Those close to Cole have said he has not decided on his future, which would either be AEW or WWE main roster, but Vince McMahon definitely wants to keep him. It was reported that WWE is not making plans for Adam Cole despite him having a meeting with Vince McMahon. While Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair were set to face off at Summerslam for the SmackDown Women's title, Banks ended up missing the show, which led to Becky Lynch returning, taking her place and becoming champion in seconds. As Ringside News reported, Becky Lynch's return plans changed several times before SummerSlam, ultimately leading to the booking decisions we saw in Las Vegas. Becky was scheduled 10 days out from SummerSlam but pulled. Then Banks was pulled and they altered those plans once again. Now Becky is a heel and champ. On the topic of Lynch being a heel, it was said by The Observer that Lynch had asked to return as a heel. Some have said in the company she was inspired by Reigns, and the reality is to many, being a heel is more fun. Of course, the last time she tried to go heel, she became the most popular wrestler in the company, and the hottest woman wrestling star the company had ever had. Following a surprise release from WWE, Braun Strowman could be making a big move in the wrestling scene, with a report from The Observer noting he will likely be heading to Impact Wrestling. It appears the former Braun Strowman will be here. Strowman is interesting because he is a big name who was a headliner in WWE until recently and would probably be pushed to the top here. Impact is also looking to make plans for Bray Wyatt, with Strowman saying previously he will see Bray again after he was released as well. Speaking of Impact, The Observer would note that another former WWE star is set to sign with the promotion. It appears that Buddy Murphy will be here, with Murphy as Buddy Matthews. Murphy seemed more suited for AEW in the sense he's a great worker. People don't even realize how good, and a place built around that. The fact Murphy is heavily pushing looking for indie dates would indicate he's not going to AEW, but AEW is also loaded and Murphy could be pushed higher here as far as being one of their focal stars. With him returning to the black and gold brand, Samoa Joe is now the NXT champion once again. Speaking to So Catch by Hal, Joe was asked if he had any interest entering the Forbidden Door. As Joe replied, "I work for a company. If I played for a major football club, you wouldn't lend me out on the weekend to go play for the rival team. Messies ain't doing day shifts over at Manchester United. I understand some fans want for that, and they want to see that, but at the same time, just with the whole politics of that type of situation, it wouldn't be a good outcome anyways. Nobody wants to look bad in that situation. Everyone's getting pushed and pulled in a certain way and it becomes a convoluted mess. If guys want to show and get down with Samoa Joe, get on my level, they come find me, and let's do this. I am making house calls right now." When it comes to CM Punk's AEW debut on Rampage, it was a huge success for the upstart promotion. With many happy about this appearance, the Observer mentioned that Fox was not pleased with WWE over this. Fox was very upset that WWE didn't make a big offer to Punk to keep him from going to AEW. CM Punk has a great relationship with Fox, which dates back to his time working for them through WWE Backstage, as Fox was one of the first to reportedly congratulate Punk on the rating success of his AEW debut. Known as the IIconics in WWE, Cassie Lee and Jessica McKay are now going by the name the Iinspiration, as they filed a trademark for it and have recently announced a tour, saying finally Iinspiration returns to pro wrestling. Cassie Lee and Jessica McKay present the Iinspiration tour, dates and cities to be announced soon. At Summerslam, Bianca Belair fell victim to a returning Becky Lynch, losing her SmackDown Women's title in a matter of seconds. Many fans were upset over Bianca being built to be a great champion and ultimately getting squashed. The Observer noted why WWE did this, saying people took it as a burial of Belair, but the idea was by beating her fast, you were supposed to get sympathy on her, with the idea that she didn't deserve that. With Becky Lynch set to be a heel for her feud with Bianca, it'll be interesting to see where this goes. Gable Steveson has become a household name after winning gold at the Tokyo Olympics. He has not only WWE but the UFC interested in bringing him on board. However, the Observer mentioned that one of these companies is trying a bit harder to get Steveson signed. Steveson met with Vince McMahon over the weekend in Las Vegas. He did not meet with Dana White, and UFC has not pursued him at nearly the level WWE has. He told Ariel Helwani on the MMA Hour about the meeting he was expected to have with White. CM Punk was on Dynamite where a Yes chant broke out, as Punk told fans that was someone else's shtick and they'd have to be patient, with this being an obvious hint that Daniel Bryan will be debuting in AEW and him reportedly already having signed. His wife Brie Bella posted a photo with him, as Bryan appears to have a ponytail. Maybe he saw how cool it looked on Brock Lesnar and adopted it himself. While many are under the impression that WWE does not focus on AEW on the Le Batard and Friends network, AEW president Tony Khan stated how he thinks Vince McMahon feels. He does care. I read a lot of books about Vince. I've never met Vince. There was a time when he was building his company in the 80s. I've tried to undertake a similar amount of work in terms of shouldering a ton of responsibility and taking a ton of one-on-one meetings. You hear about Vince going to convince Hulk Hogan, going to convince individual people to come in and work for WWF, convincing a sponsor to come on. Vince was taking all of these meetings and all of this responsibility, and he was a similar age to me, and I think I'm inspired by that. And that was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.